What is up, sickos? Welcome into the pickoff. I'm your host.
Try that again. That was you. I need way more energy out of you right now. Try it again.
All right, hold on. This thing is in the way because we got a new guy on the. Okay,
you don't
ready?
need the full intro. Just go. Just try the urine. You're muted now, you idiot.
You stupid. I didn't even say anything. I was just opening my mouth. Welcome in to the pickoff. People across the way probably think I'm on drugs, but no, I'm just.
You've lived there long enough. I'm sure they're familiar with your game at this point. You've lived there for what?
That is right there, Jake Hasan. I am your host, Colby Marcio. This is Friday Juniors edition of the pickoff. Your tied for first place favorite type of pickoff. So you got Danny on Tuesdays, tied for Thursdays with Jake. Either way, you're going to get a really good show because it's not just me talking, which I like. I like having guests, not really guests, co-hosts. You're my co-host. You're here every week. You're my co-host. So I like that. Can we just kick this son of a gun off with what I sent you 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, sure. We could do this. It was something. It was definitely a graphic of all time. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah. So for the people out there wondering what we're talking about, MLB came out with their top 10 power rankings of hitters. Guess who's not there? The people's MVP, Cal flippin' Raleigh. But I don't understand. Hold on, let me back up a little bit. I can't put it on my hips because you can't see. Well, why wasn't Cal Raleigh there? Why don't we have Cal Raleigh?
But Bryce Terang is on the list.
That list may be. I was wondering, what are they basing it off? I would
also like to know. This is the first time I've seen this graphic all year. Like, where is this coming? Is this a weekly thing? I'm confused.
I've never seen it. I also think I unfollowed.
Thanks,
Brian Aldrich, for the follow. I think I unfollowed MLB because they don't post anything interesting, and if they post anything, I've already seen it 5 times. I had to unfollow my favorite home run account because they kept glitching and kept posting Manny Machado every 4 minutes. I was like, this is from 8 hours ago, and then I checked, and he's got 100 Manny Machado posts. So, for anyone wondering, the list is Ohtani, Schwarber, Kurtz, Soto, Springer, who should be there, Laureano, Judge, Stanton, Bo Bichette, Bryce Terang to close it out. What? Now that
I don't have a problem with the top 5. I don't have a problem with the top 5. I want to be very clear about that. Ohtani, Schwarber, Kurtz, Soto, Springer.
Springer's on fire.
Let's do a sidebar really fast. Is George Springer having the quietest MVP season, MVP caliber season we've ever seen in our lives?
I feel like sending this link to Johnny from Gate 14, be like, yo, hop in. But I think he's live with Owner's Box. But yeah, I mean, if you follow Johnny, you know how good of a season Springer is having right now.
George Springer right now, 307, 399, 557 for a 956 OPS, in case anybody doesn't want to do the quick math. He's at 27 home runs. He's going to clear 30 for sure.
Yeah.
Like, he's having one of the best years of his career at the age of 35. Like,
yeah,
which probably means we're going to find something out here about some test results in about 3 months. But for now, maybe not.
Allegedly, we don't make assumptions.
The guy hit 220 last year, 258 the year before that. It's been a couple of subpar years for George Springer, but he's going to finish third in MVP voting, fourth, top 5 for sure.
Yeah. So, but what's
good.
the second half of that list? Like, I mean,
the second half is wild.
Stanton is having a typical Stanton run of he's hot, and when he's hot, he's one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball, which always leads to the inevitable injury is due. So I'm not going to I don't want to talk about Stanton's streak right now or how well he's hitting the ball and seeing the ball. But can I actually
52 hits on the year, by the way, 18 of them home runs.
I mean, what's Cal's?
Oh, hold on. I just had it up. Give me 2 seconds.
Almost 50% of his home runs or hits since July 1st are home runs, though. 48%.
124 hits, 51 home runs.
I don't like, and people
That's
are
amazing.
Still adamant about him getting.
Oh my God, we'll get it. We'll do that in a second. We'll do the trust me.
But before we get in there, I want to just say this to you, and this is zero disrespect. This is satire for Stanton. He's been phenomenal his entire career.
Yeah.
How do you not just strike a guy out that bats like this? How you just throw it right here? He can't hit this. You know what I mean? And anything.
But he can. He has.
But if you look at his swing, it looks like he can only hit one path.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Here, I'll do it. How do you get around?
But that swing's going to end up with 500 home runs, though.
It's very true. Very true. Now, Jake, you're my co-host, friend, brother. You tell us where we're going on this episode. You had some things you texted me you wanted to talk about. I will let you steer the ship wherever you want to go to kick off the start. Well, I feel
we didn't really pay off the bottom half of this list. Like,
I forgot.
What's really funny? What's really funny about this list is legitimately half of them. Because we have to ask how often this gets updated.
Do you want me to scroll while you keep talking, Philip?
Five of the no, because who cares? 5 of the hitters on this list were unranked in the last iteration of these power rankings, allegedly.
Sounds like they took a break.
Yeah, like what are we talking about here? I don't. Again, I don't mind like Springer going from not ranked to 5. I'm fine with that. Like,
let me just try to find last week's.
But that's what I mean. Is it weekly? Is it monthly?
Oh wait. No, that's team power rankings. What the hell?
What the hell? Like, Bo Bichette's having a nice season, but I don't think he's a top 9 hitter in baseball right now.
Only 3 days away.
Like,
scrolling for weeks.
Like, I don't know. I would like to have some words with
this is such a boring account.
Also, how was this list compiled? Is this voters? Is this one person's opinion? Is this fan voting? Like, where are we at here? I don't know. I just don't really understand where this is coming from.
Here, this is pitchers. See, this is the first time I've seen pitchers 828.
Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago.
Power rankings.
And I mean, to be fair to Bryce Terang, he has been on fire. 363, 442, 747 for Bryce Terang over the last 28 days. What? Nine home runs in his last 23 games. 4 in his last
26. I still haven't found another graph.
All right, enough. Forget it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
They don't. This is a made up thing they've been doing all season.
I mean, there's just no way that's true. Like, how? I don't know.
Not ranked.
Well, I don't know. It is very bizarre to me. Whatever. All right.
I'm glad I caught that.
We've spent 10 minutes on this
chat. Welcome in. Love you all. Love you all. Big day. Brand new show coming up after the pickoff. Don't go anywhere. Any given wager with our guy Danny Burke, the pickoff's other co-host, Adam Kaufman. I believe SBJ will be there, and another special bounty. Who's it going to be?
Is it going to be you?
No. I only have 1 point.
The disdain you said that with.
No, I got to write about college football.
Hell yeah.
It's almost that time, Jake. When people talk about NFL being in, almost that time.
You got what, a month or so? Well, we're gonna have
November.
Well, yeah. I mean, you start to get you usually get like a non-conference game in October.
No, unless it's like the last month, usually exhibition.
Yeah.
Can I give you one complaint real quick about
you usually
the fall,
do,
and then we can dive into baseball.
3rd. Good lord. So late.
Trust me, I know this, guys.
All right.
Because if you really break up what I do on a year-to-year basis,
you complain.
Oh, it's a real simple one. Whoever is in charge of merch, etc., at DePaul should be fired.
Why?
The fact that you're not selling what the athletes wear is appalling, and I said this back when I was there. Because if you go to the bookstore, or you go anywhere, you can get like DePaul merch, like if a basketball game or like the bookstore that I mentioned. All the stuff there sucks. This is the coolest thing they've sold.
It's a nice quarter clip.
This is the coolest thing they've sold ever. Like they have the old Billy DePaul logo. That's the old little mascot guy. I think they call it Billy. It's on Kelly's on the wall. They only gave that to the basketball team. Like, you don't think alumni don't want that? You're dumb. Peavy and Holtman and telling them, yo, I'm trying to buy some of this stuff. I'm trying to buy into the program. Anywho, let's talk. If you don't say program, do you really appreciate the program? Program.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have that same experience because Illinois Big Ten school,
famously,
you definitely could get whatever the hell you want.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
And you guys have awesome vintage merch.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah. It's so good. You go on Depop and get some awesome stuff for like $10.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I had a girl gift me a couple gift me a vintage Illinois crew neck, and then she stole it from me, her own gift, and still has it.
I respect it. When you're dedicated to the vintage market, as the people of our age are, you gotta respect it.
Yeah. Oh, huge.
Going on Yolk Sack.
Yeah, huge vintage girly. I hope she's having a nice day. No, I don't. Anyway, back to where we were talking about of baseball, and you telling me we could go wherever we wanted. We have to do the weekly segment. We have to do the weekly.
Get it out of the way. But it's a new week. It's a new week.
And as we say,
we don't need to talk about the AL. I want to hear your thoughts on the NL because Danny and I spoke on it, touched on it Tuesday, and I said, I think there's a much more interesting conversation now with the NL than there has been in a couple weeks just because of how poorly Shohei is pitching this season. And if you go back to look at all of his stats, this is his worst statistical season since he came in second place to Aaron Judge when Judge broke the AL home run record. Meanwhile, he pitched a really, really good season that year that he came in second place. And Slip and Jimmy made a really good point and was like, how much of an impact is Shohei really having pitching when he's kind of like a Marcus Stroman that's hitting 40 home runs? And I was like, that's a really funny take. And I said also, before I cut you off, and I'll let you talk, if this was last year, I think it would be Schwarber's.
I think the 50-50 was always going to win regardless of what was happening. Unfortunately, just because the history factor.
I forgot he did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like that was always.
I forgot he did that.
I don't know that Shohei is having a poor
I also
year.
meant like if he wasn't pitching this season. That's what I meant.
Okay, that I'm more willing to hear.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
I don't think he's pitching poorly though. Like in his last start, he went 5. It's been fine. But the thing, the ERA is a little misleading because just the lack of innings. Like in his he's just now getting to that 5-inning mark. And in his last start, granted it was against Cincinnati at home, but 5 innings, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts.
That gave him the MVP.
And I think it's going to continue to because he is still hitting at a pretty good clip. Like he's going to hit 50 home runs again.
Yeah.
So I just think that he's such an enigma. And Schwarber's kind of cooled off. And I see people on Twitter trying to make the case for Juan Soto now.
What?
Which
you're bored. You're
exactly. I think that's what it is, though. But Kobe, I think you make a great point because this is the Shohei Ohtani MVP discourse every single year, where about the middle, where it's the start of the year, okay, it's just going to be him. He's still awesome. Then around like early summer, like that June-ish kind of, early July, like before the All-Star break, the first person pops up. And this year was Pete Armstrong. And I was on this show. I was on shows on the BetMGM network saying Pete Armstrong is not going to keep this up with the bat. He's going to fall off. All his value comes from his defense. Look what happened. Since the All-Star break, Pete Armstrong is hitting about 170 or something like that. He's been brutal. Right? Something like that. If that's not good, surely striking out or hitting pop flies in the bottom of the ninth.
What?
Crazy. We can get to that in a little bit. But
Seattle. Really weird.
The discourse. This is the Shohei Ohtani cycle. It was Pete Armstrong in the early summer. Then immediately after the All-Star break, it was Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
And then he cooled off. And about 2 months later, now a month and a half later, now we're in the stretch run of September, and it's another person. And here we go. Now it's Juan Soto. This is what happens every single year with Shohei Ohtani. We did it last year. We did it with Lindor and Ellie De La Cruz, and we did it the year prior to that. It's just, this is the discourse. This is like, well, surely somebody else is having a good run here, and that's not to say that these players aren't great. Juan Soto is awesome. Francisco Lindor is awesome. Pete Armstrong and Kyle Schwarber is awesome, but
this is the part where people get confused. You have to be able to take yourself out of thinking they're MVP candidate just because they're having a career year.
Are they going to win?
You can have a career year. You can also get flowers and not be an MVP candidate. That's the problem with
and that's what you have to ask yourself.
We keep
like,
having.
Okay, great. Yeah. They can be MVP candidates, but are they going to win? Or are they going to finish second? And that was always a thing for me, with Pete Armstrong. He was always going to finish top 5 at best. And now he probably won't even finish that well. Juan Soto is now going to finish second or third. Great. If you bet the big number, it's not a bad, it doesn't mean you made a bad bet. You made a good bet. You got CLV and you can scream that until you're blue in the face. And I was banging the table, hoping. Didn't happen, obviously. To go back to what you said about the pitching, though, with Ohtani, yeah, he had 2 bad starts against the Angels and the Rockies. But everything else, granted, small samples, small innings, but like 1 inning, 0 earned, 2 innings, 0 earned, 2 innings, 0 earned, 3 innings, 0 earned, 3 innings, 1 earned, 3 innings, 2 earned. And he's still racking up strikeouts 2, 8, 7, 9, 4, and 3 innings. Like, I think all of the numbers still back it up that he's very, very good. Like his FIP is a 2.27. So I think he's going to continue to be pretty good. Now, the thing is, though, Colby, he got scratched from his start yesterday. And I think it's the Dodgers' 2.5 game lead in the NL West. But I think they're trying to preserve him. They didn't just push him back a day. Snell's getting the start today. But if he misses a couple starts or they shut him down as a pitcher, that's a whole nother conversation. However, that's not a conversation I want to have right now because it's not the reality we're living in. And I've said this before to you. I've said it to the view. I've said it to the listeners, the viewers. I'm not going to try and read the tea leaves to try and beat Shohei Ohtani because 99.9% of the time it's a fool's errand and you're just going to end up losing money when you could have put those bets, put those wagers elsewhere.
You wonder why some of the books in the last couple of weeks have just given you 3 options or 2 options depending on what your NL or NL MVP. So it's last year's guys. We're going to continue to say that until the season's over with, and Jake comes back on Up Your Units when we're 5 days a week, and it's March 15th, and we're like, hey, guess who just won MVP? Because the MLB loves to take 10 years.
I'll talk to you on Thanksgiving night when we're all trying to enjoy our family dinner.
It's fun, though. I love the argument with Schwarber. I've seen some Philly fans talk about it. And I'm like, I respect your take 1,000%. I wish it was different. I don't have voter fatigue. I don't have that in me. If it's the right guy, it's the right guy. I don't.
And the odds are telling you it's minus 1,500. That the books are telling you what this is. Now it's September 4th. This could still go any which way. But
even if he gets hurt, now, it's his.
That I would pump.
There's 20 games. There's 20 games.
Right. And he probably has 2 starts left in those 20 games. Yeah, I mean I'm with you. Like I think you're right. But if he got abducted by aliens, I don't know if it's just him, but that's not gonna happen. So that's a different conversation for a different time. Should we talk about American League MVP?
I was just about to tee you up and be like, what else you got?
I mean, we tried to tell everybody. We
went a week.
7 days ago. We tried to, and the night before, remember, Aaron Judge hit a home run. And I said on the show, the award is just over. And look what has happened in the 7 days.
He almost hit for the cycle.
In the 7 days since we have talked, Colby, Aaron Judge, in this span of time, is slashing. Please load. Aaron Judge over the last 7 days is hitting 333, 467, 625 for 1092 OPS, 2 home runs, a double, a couple RBI in that span. But let's even go back further. Let's go back 2 weeks, Colby. 265, 400, 510 for 910 OPS, which still isn't crazy, but this is the start of a classic Aaron Judge heater. And that's why now he's drifted out to minus 300. And I will get to the other side of this argument of, well, but if the guy with the 51 home runs on the Seattle Mariners team that's really plucky, and what do they win the division? And last 2 weeks, Cal Rowley's hitting 186.
That's what his second half batting average is too.
Oh, if we want to do this, the second half as a whole, second half 206, 296, 461 for 756 OPS.
How many hits? How many home runs?
In the second half?
Yep.
Second half, he has 34 hits and 13 home runs.
Oh, wow. 40%.
So more than
yeah. Wow.
So, listen, it was a good run. Awesome season by Cal Rowley. This is it. It's over. It's done.
The dumper pumpers look stupid.
And here's the thing, and I don't want to tell people they look stupid, per se. Because
you look you look stupid for saying a guy that has a bunch of statistics that are above league average in a bad way and below league average in a bad way, having a career year, and you can't get yourself over that. Yeah. He's not an MVP caliber player this season. He's just having a monster home run season 100%. For the position he played. Quit lying to yourself. That's pretty easy.
And remember, too, what the other part of our argument was if Cal Rowley was going to win the MVP, he had to break Judge's record, which would mean hitting 12 home runs in the last 20 games. Not impossible, not likely. And the Mariners would have to either win that division or convincingly make the playoffs. Well, they're in the last wild card, and the Texas Rangers and Kansas City Royals are right on their heels.
Dude, I could lose all of my win totals. The Rays, I'm definitely fine. I think I need like a couple more losses, and I'm fine with that 86.5. But all of my other ones, minus the Diamondbacks, are in this last stretch of a sweat where in the perfect world they could all hit, which is kind of cool. Like the Rangers have a chance. They lose 17 games to close out the season. Last time I checked, they've lost like 3 straight, right? They're like 2-8 in their last 10, I believe. They're not in a great spot.
I'm just looking at the wild card race, and yeah, the Mariners.
Let me see.
Everyone wanted to buy the Mariners. Remember that?
What was that?
Remember when everyone wanted to buy the Mariners? Those Really funny.
Oh, I'm not gonna out somebody.
Oh,
but
and by the way, Kansas City still has a series left against the Mariners. That's all.
I like them today.
Hmm.
I like them a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean they're minus 150 favorites.
Well, I don't take money lines.
Well, I know, but I'm saying,
the Rangers terribly have the fourth toughest remaining schedule.
Three against the Brewers, 6 against Houston, 3 against the Mets is not.
I think the Mets and Guardians are very gettable games for them.
6 against Houston's tough though. It's not what you want.
1000%.
But yeah, AL to close the loop on American League MVP. It's done. It's if you got Raleigh at huge prices, good on you. It was a good season. If you were somebody that was betting Cal Raleigh plus 185, yikes. Also, for the people looking at, well, Cal Raleigh's going to finish in second. Why is he 3-1? Because Aaron Judge is awesome. So please, 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 please do not go betting Cal Raleigh 3-1. It's over. It's done. Finite.
It's dumb. Judge is having one of the best statistical seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's
100%.
far more impressive than Cal Raleigh hitting a home run 40% of the time he hits a ball. So that's not impressive to me.
And let's not act like Judge isn't going to get to 50 home runs either. He's at 43 right now.
Oh, man. Also, still need 4 home runs out of Lindor and Jose Ramirez. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
It's not going to happen.
4 each or collectively?
4 each. Yeah, they haven't been hitting homers.
Yeah, not impossible.
I mean that's 4 games. I could get one where they hit 2 in a game, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Also, the Mariners have the second easiest remaining schedule: 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Astros. Then they have 3 against the Royals, 3 against the Rockies. Which I would argue any young team, Rockies, White Sox, a little bit of the Athletics. I think those are terrifying teams to play closing out the season. Because one, it's a bunch of guys playing for their 100%. Careers, playing to make a name of themselves, playing for next season. Meanwhile, all these other teams they had a bad year, whatever. They have guys on the team that have been there, they're going to stay there.
Well, and on those bad teams, you got a lot of guys on 1-year contracts who are playing for their next job.
Yeah, and the Angels, the Braves are for some reason still scrappy as all hell right now.
I think that's part of their DNA.
Yeah,
dude, I'm gonna be way in on the Braves next year.
Way,
like way, because remember their manager Brian Snicker is
no free ads, don't show it, don't.
Anyway, next year, because remember, Brian Snitker is walking away from the job this year. You know who's just sitting on the sidelines, waiting, like a guy?
Joe Madden?
Stop. Skip Schumacher's still unemployed, by the way. And remember what he did with the Marlins and made them a playoff team, and then for whatever reason, when the Marlins were being really dumb, let him go. I think he took this year off intentionally. And I think he's going to go right back to the NL East and run things. And I'll be weighing on the Braves next year. Anyway, that's a different conversation for like 6 months from now. But as of today, back to the AL wild card. I think there are bets to be made. Like, and you and I are already in on the Rangers. You and I, like, our bread is buttered from before the season. We were always believers. It's been a long, hard road.
What they got right now?
Right now, the Rangers are sitting.
Did I say Braves? Sorry.
No, I said Braves because I'm dumb. Maybe you did too. I don't know. The Texas Rangers are 72-69, lost 2 straight. They have won 7 out of the last.
I need 14 wins.
But
I need 14
we're
wins.
making this a playoff conversation. And Semion's out for the year. Evaldi's out for the year. Seager, we'll see with this abdomen injury. It's scary. But this is exactly what happened a couple years ago where they just got hot. And if they can get in and Seager does end up coming back, you still have a pretty good rotation
to be 23 Adolis.
Well, he needs to go on a heater. And if that's the case, so let's put it this way then. there's 3 teams. I'm gonna scratch out the Guardians because I think they stink.
No, they're dead.
Do we want to scratch out
ago.
the Rays too? Because I kind of think they stink.
Oh, they're just home merchants.
Yeah. Okay. So Mariners, Rangers, Royals for the last wild card spot. If you had to make a pick right now,
say it again.
Rangers are game and a half back. Royals are 2.5 back. Anybody that you like out of those 3 to make the playoffs?
Why do I want to root for the Royals?
For the record, Mariners minus 245 to make the playoffs right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even touch that. What's the Royals? What's the Royals? I know that's what you gassed about. What's the Royals?
Plus 750.
For the Royals? Do you want to hear the remaining schedule? I have it right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
13th toughest. So it's right in the middle. Right in the middle. Yeah. I can live with the middle. Yeah. Especially when you have the Blue Jays, Phillies, Mariners, 4 games against the Guardians, 3 games against the Twins, 3 against the A's, 4 against the Angels. That's the number? I don't want to add any more futures, dude. My futures ticket is just like my entire bankroll. It looks like Royals.
And Seth Lugo comes back in the next week or so.
How many games do they have home and away? There is a plus 1,000. I'm there.
I think we got to do. I think we got to do some stuff. Because it's like our conversation last week about the Red Sox. Like, does that price make sense? They're 2.5 back. They
have a very tough schedule though, so I'm out on the Red Sox.
You're out on the Red Sox AL East?
I never took it.
Oh, you left me on an island by myself?
I wrote that it was a good lean.
That's so rude. Anyway. All right. Well, if people want actual bets, listen, Royals 10-1 is crazy. The Mariners are minus 245 and they're barely hanging on to a playoff spot. I get that their schedule the rest of the way is easy, but this is what they do. This is that team. Like, this is what the Mariners have done last year, the year before, and their career as an organization. They collapse. This is what we were saying when they were making a push for the AL West. They just fall apart. And I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, especially if Cal Raleigh is going to continue in this slump. Whereas the Royals, Bobby Witt Jr. is awesome. Vinny Pasquantino's been playing really well lately. Jack Caglione is probably going to get called up sooner rather than later. Seth Lugo.
Vinny.
Seth Lugo going to be back. Noah Cameron back on Thursday night against the Angels. And he was awesome before he got hurt. Michael Wacha, very steady for them. So 10-1. Like, does that sound right to anybody? Like, does that legitimately sound right to anyone? And to me, as somebody that watches a lot of baseball and watches these markets, that doesn't sound right to me, especially considered the Mariners are in front and the Mariners are very streaky and the Texas Rangers are in front of them and they're very banged up. Like the Rangers are plus 350 and the Royals trail them by a game. $6.50 of differentiation in the price. That makes sense. I think that's way wrong. I think the Royals are worth a bet.
I'm doing it right now.
Love it. Big Kansas City show.
They are saying this is the biggest. We should tell Nate Dogg to turn it. I'm going to tell Shaggy to tune in. Tune into pick off right now. Run. Don't walk.
Yeah. And I mean, like, they just called Jack Caglione back up earlier in the week. Like,
you bet your sweet rear end, Adam.
I mean, yeah, I think the Royals win tonight as well. Let's just to be clear for Shaggy, I'm not saying that the Royals are going to win the World Series, but 10-1 to make the playoffs. They're right there. I think this team is way live. You know who else can't do anything right? The Seattle Mariners, who currently hold the last wild card. Okay. That's all I got.
Sorry, I'm still trying to lock this in. I'm still trying to lock it in so I don't miss.
I just talked for like 7 straight minutes about the Kansas City Royals.
I'm so excited. I just want to place this.
You're shaking. But so wait, you're out on Boston still? What is their price for division?
They have like the 5th toughest remaining schedule in baseball.
So
there's been an error.
Oh,
why won't you let me place this?
If you get rainbow wheeled right now and the odds change, that would really.
I'm restarting my phone.
I mean, the Blue Jays have.
Jake, place the bet for me. I'll Venmo you money.
The Blue Jays have the 7th toughest schedule. Boston has the 8th. And you're worried about the Yankees, who have the 20th hardest, so 10th easiest. Like,
well, I got the Yanks at almost 5-1. I'm riding that out.
I guess it's just. I mean, I guess it's bet your opinion. It
sucked.
Right?
It sucked that they lost last night. That sucked. It was the perfect time to get a win.
100%. And well, I mean, as somebody that bet the Astros, I wasn't super upset about it, and I'm going to do it again tonight, but we could get into that. But when I look at this AL East, like Toronto's so vulnerable to me, and I just don't really trust.
Vulnerable.
And so you look at the Red Sox and Yankees chasing them. I can see the argument of bet your opinion that both of these teams are just a few games back, both 3.5 games back of the Blue Jays. If you're not a Blue Jays believer, it's bet your opinion. Who do you have more faith in, the Red Sox or the Yankees? My pick is the Red Sox. I just believe in their rotation much more than I believe in the Yankees. Now, granted, Roman Anthony being out really puts a damper into that lineup. So maybe so that does kind of move the goalposts a little bit of, all right, would you rather ride with the Yankees lineup or the Red Sox lineup? And without Roman Anthony for at least the rest of the regular season, if not longer, I could see how that Red Sox bet you want to win.
It won't let me place it.
Watching Colby have a full mental breakdown right now.
This has been an error. Please try again or contact customer support. As if
they're changing the odds as we speak. Somebody somewhere is listening.
Dude, do you have that book?
Text it to me. I would assume I do, but
I want that number. I want that number. I want that number.
Scared. What is it? Yeah, I do. I wonder if but the problem is I wonder if they're going to let me bet it again. That's the problem.
They should. Please tell me you can get it in.
Now I need you to talk now then.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't want to my biggest pet peeve is missing out a number that I could have. That is just my biggest pet peeve of them all. Wow, 40 minutes in, we haven't even got to today's Slizzate. But also, yes, ladies and germs, this is a misprice of the century. The Royals currently have they're in the middle of the road, toughest schedules remaining, 10-1, when other teams that are in the race to be in the wild card are falling. The Seattle Mariners are struggling right now. The Rangers are beat up to all hell. I would much rather be in a Royals team that is humming. They're humming. I'll talk about them in about 5 minutes. They're humming. They're seeing the ball well. And my biggest gripe with them this whole season is they don't strike out, which is great, but also they don't walk. So they put the ball in play, which is a good thing. But now they're starting to walk. The guys they've added, was it Teal and Yastrzemski? Those are guys that walk more. They're getting that walk rate up, and you need bodies on the base path. Oh, Rowdy took Tarleton State plus 1,000 to win the FCS championship. Hell yeah, Rowdy. Wow. Oh, babe. Are you struggling too?
Yeah.
Is it not letting you?
We're having serious problems over here.
Is it doing the same thing that mine did?
I don't think so. Hold on.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. Let's get into today's slate. Jake and I have a couple plays. No day games for me, thank God.
What's happening right now? Their app must be crashing or something.
Oh, but I was able to deposit money. Yeah, good one. They're
They're not even letting me. Yeah.
It wants me to deposit again. There's clearly money in the account. Come on.
It's the power. It's the power of the show that people are just running to bet it right now.
All the 400 people that have been to this show today, you guys are amazing. You're incredible. Let the folks know out there in the Twitter world that we're going to be talking about today's slate. Jake, I just want to say one of your plays tickled me, but I couldn't get to the counter. Come get your plays. And that is your home run play of the day.
Yes.
Very high rating on Batters Hyphen and Box.
Yep.
But doesn't hit those balls as well as I particularly like. However, I do love the price. You could also get a really good price on him to record a hit. I think at minus 160 or 70-ish. It's not bad. Sometimes I feel like dabbling in paying the juice for the floor for a guy, but we'll go to the hottest hitter on the White Sox, Mr. Colson Michael Montgomery.
For me, this was a bet just because of the price. And also not just because of the price. I shouldn't say that, but he's also been unbelievable. I saw a stat on Twitter either last night or the night before that in the second half, Colson Montgomery is like on par with Kyle Schwarber as far as power numbers. It's kind of insane. And he's been really, really good. And so 4-1 for one of the hottest power hitters in baseball, going against a guy who's high velo and allows a lot of fly balls in Taj Bradley, who, by the way, has been terrible since the Rays traded him. He's been
never terrible happened. All season.
Why would anyone ever trade with the Rays?
Why would anyone go and pick a guy up that's only been able to play at a dome his entire career? He can't play anywhere outside of the Trop.
I can't believe people do business with the Rays. It blows my mind every single time. But I was a big Taj Bradley believer too. So it pains me to say this, and this is no shade to Taj Bradley, but a little bit actually. But Colson Montgomery, I think, is one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. I think this White Sox team is very plucky. To our point from earlier, these teams that are bad, they want to prove something, and they want to go into the offseason with some momentum. And Colson Montgomery, one of those guys that has something to prove, wants to prove that he deserves a roster spot next year. So I'll go with him. And to loop that in for my other bet in this game, I like the White Sox on the money line. Plus 130 against a Twins team that basically has me and Colby out there in the field. And they would probably be better if they did, except for the fact that Colby's like 4-3. So I don't know how much value he would bring. But I just think that the White Sox are severely mispriced. And this is a bet because they are basically the same teams. They are on the same level for me. And I'll take the upside of the White Sox young players as opposed to the janitors and custodians that are running out there for the Twins. I like the White Sox. I like Colson Montgomery.
Yeah, well, I like the Twins. First 5, team total over 2.5 at plus 115. This is the highest rated offense on the day. Correct. I'm just busting your balls. They have 5 elite rated hitters on the day. Last 2 weeks, Jake said they haven't been doing too great. Last 2 weeks, 104 WRC plus, 321 WOBA, 732 OPS, 162, ISO, still making almost 35% hard contact, taking on Jonathan Cannon, who is the worst rated pitcher on the day. Poor WOBA, ISO, hard contact, ground ball percentage, allowing 40% hard contact on the season. On the road, has a 5.80 ERA, is allowing 6 hits, 3.5 runs per start. Last 5 road games, 7.50 ERA, 6.18 expected ERA, almost a 5 xFIP, nearly 50% hard contact, 11.5 barrel rate. Hitters have a 329 expected batting average, 620 expected slugging, and a sub 4x WOBA. I think they can get it done. Also, I wanted to do a parlay of home runs, but
of course you did.
I wanted to add Montgomery in it. That's what it was. But if you want somebody in this game, Twins-wise, hitter-wise, I think it's Cody Clemens Day.
Ooh.
However, Matt Wallner is higher up there, but Cody Clemens hits all the pitches of Cannon's, except for the fastball, which is fine because Cannon throws that like 15% of the time, whatever. 5-1 home run on Cody Clemens. I don't know. I haven't hit a home run bet in like 2 weeks because I'm not really trying to hit those anymore. But
Howard,
I think he's a good look.
You're expecting to lose?
No, I'm looking for more F5 team totals because they're a lot more fun right now.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a hot streak with taking bases or H to double R in a while, so this is my sweat. Anywho, let's go to the other team that we're trying to will their way to the postseason, the Royals. As of today, this is a Royals show. Woo! I love their first 5 team total over today at 2.5. I thought it was going to be 1.5. I was more shocked at the price, to be honest, at 2.5. I thought it would be plus money because the Royals aren't the sexiest team at home, but they have been pretty sexy as of late. 4th highest rated offense on the day. Last 4 weeks against right-handed pitchers. Top 10 WRC plus WOBA, OPS, ISO, walk rate. 4th in hard contact percentage. Love that. Taking on Jake's former husband, Kyle Hendricks, who has the 2nd worst pitcher rating on the day. On the road, a 5.05 ERA, giving up over 5 hits and almost 3 runs per road start. Houston was his last road start. 7 hits allowed, 1 run. To me, it feels like he should have given up a little bit more. I digress. But as of late, he hasn't been playing that great. As you go look at the numbers, you'd be like, well, he's actually been improving on the road. I think he's due for some regression. The Royals' top 5 rated hitters today are righties. Hendricks has been struggling a ton against righties. Last 60 righties faced, 4.61 ERA, 4.79 expected ERA. Hitters have a almost 3.60 expected batting average, 5.55 x slugging, 3.54 expected WOBA. I do have a guy that I like today to not only leave the yard, but possibly hit a double. I wasn't paying minus 140 for 1.5 bases. That's Silly Goose. Bobby Witt Jr. Ooh. Best option on the day for any Royal, in my opinion. I looked at Salvi. Does not do well against Hendricks pitches. Bobby Witt. Now, I'm not a munch, Junior. But Bobby Witt munches on all of those pitches. Almost 3-1 on the double is a great price for a guy that does hit a ton of doubles. 350 is a great price for a guy that the books already think is going to do some damage when his bases prop is at minus 140. Why not make it 2.5? That is such a dumb price. Do not go and bet.
Yeah.
Minus 140. This is the better option. Well, Kobe, what if it's a triple? Add it to the card. I'm not betting a triple. I'm not adding a triple. If it was Corbin Carroll, maybe. The triple's probably 9-1.
No, I was just looking at how many he has this year.
Oh, I thought you wanted the price. Actually, I want to know what the price is now. I'm still mad at that book.
Bobby Witt Jr. 5 triples this year. Had 11 last year and 11 the year before that.
Triple today is 1,000. 10-1.
Yeah. They're at home?
Yes. They're at home. Hendricks on the road. Old man Hendricks.
Nah, we already have one Royals 10-1 bet, and I'm good. Never mind.
Were you able to get it in?
I got it in for me.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's so stupid.
Have you considered getting good?
Anywho, you have an underplay?
Yes, I do. I like the first 3 under 1.5 and Dodgers and Pirates. It's Skeens Day, and coming off his dominant start last week when he just completely took our Christopher Sanchez futures and
I'm sorry.
Pow! Them right in the back of the head. I know it's fine. Whatever. It was a good run. But anyway, Skeens, who's obviously awesome against the Dodgers lineup that is tired on a getaway day. And on the other side, Blake Snell, who is famously not a friend of mine, but on a getaway day again for a bad Pirates team. I think you might get a little bit of a sleepy spot from these 2 offenses. 2 good pitchers with dominant stuff when they're both on. Getting a run as a buffer, plus money to it. First time through the lineup, theoretically, for both guys. First 3 under 1.5 at plus money for me is a good bet on a getaway day.
Yeah, I love the sweat, especially at plus money.
Oh, yeah.
You got 2 guys on the bump today. It's a good spot. Also, I think Skeens has another gem. Let's see if you make it. Wow.
Nailed it.
Wow. It seems like you're going back to another team on the money line that is playing another team that can't play on the road, and they proved that yesterday. But they scored double digits the day before. So go ahead, tell me why it's the Brewers. I wrote about this game yesterday, and I was like, when was the last time the Phillies scored double digits on the road? Let me just make it easy for you. It's been 2+ months. Anywho, you like the Brewers on the money line.
I do like the Brewers on the money line. Getting -124 with Freddie Peralta at home just feels like a cheap price to me against a very inconsistent Phillies team and Ranger Suarez, not Geno Suarez, as Colby would say. I don't have a lot of faith in him. I think Yelich will be back today. So I like the Brewers, a team that just continues to roll. And I'll take the consistency of Milwaukee over the inconsistency of Philadelphia. Getting Freddie Peralta, who is one of the top pitchers in the league, I will 1,000% take that. -124 feels like a cheap price to pay.
Oh, yeah. Also, you're fading a lefty Lou southpaw that I really don't have much respect for, so I completely understand why you're in this mindset. Also at plus money at home. I don't hate it, Jake. I don't hate it, but when I need this team to get wins, I don't like seeing Astros money line. So tell me why I should be upset.
I mean, you don't have to be upset, and you can choose not to be. Life is beautiful, as they say. I would never say that because the horrors persist. But anyway, I like the Astros on the money line because you're getting plus money with a team that is a true bona fide contender. Anybody that has listened to this show or listened to me or listened to you individually knows we're big on the Astros. We have been for months. Nothing has changed for me. I think this is a misprice against a Carlos Rodon who is famously very inconsistent. Now, on the other side, it's Christian Javier, and I know he isn't the most consistent, especially as he works his way back from injury, but I still think that the price range here is just too big, and you get the Astros at home as well. Listen, I've bet the Astros in every game of the series, got burned in the first game, and it worked out last night. I'm going to touch the stove again. One thing about Jake Hasan, whether it be betting or women or friendships or life, I love to touch the stove over and over. I do not learn my lesson. So I'm back to it. I will be on the Astros tonight. I think it works out. And we know Javier gets up for these games against the Yankees consistently over his career. When he's playing the Yankees or pitching against the Yankees, you get a gem out of him. So I will take the Astros on the money line here.
You know who I think homers in that game?
Let me guess. Don't put it up yet. Let me guess.
I don't have a prop. I don't have a prop.
Oh,
it's just a nut feel, plum feel.
Sure.
Who's due?
Jordan?
No. Yes.
Volpe?
Yeah. Oh, can we get out of my face? Get out of my face. Dude, hold on. We need to talk about how when Framber threw the ball at his catcher's chest.
Yeah.
And Volpe took that 93-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle and didn't swing.
Yeah.
That was the biggest issue with that whole thing.
It was just weird. That whole situation was just very bizarre. Framber Vale is saying, "Oh, well, I said sorry. You clearly didn't." Then there was the report that the Astros players got into it in the clubhouse
where he had
too.
to say the right thing. That was
right,
clearly a spot where he had to say the right thing.
And then you get the reports after the game of the Astros players like turning on each other, and there was a mutiny after. It was just very weird.
Makes you feel good that I haven't placed the Astros to come out of the AL yet. They're crumbling.
I mean, I don't think so. You think they're crumbling?
I'm not crumbling. Crumbling was a joke. I do. You know,
I'd rather they hit the skids right now than at the end of September.
You know, I honestly stick brain right now, kind of like a scrappy team like that. Like the same way I liked the fight on the flight with Auburn going to Houston, and they had to land the plane and come back later the next day.
And how did that go? And how did that go?
They won outright. They won. They beat Houston. They covered. I had Auburn.
I'm thinking of never mind.
Yeah, you're thinking of something else.
I don't know why I was thinking of Houston Duke for some reason. I don't know. I'm dumb.
All right, one last time for the sick kids before Jake and I just ramble about stuff. Royals, not only to make the playoffs at 10-1, but the Royals' first 5 team total over 2.5 -125.
Yep.
The Twins' first 5 over 2.5 +115. Bobby Witt, double home run. Don't even think about taking those bases. Take the correct props. Jakey Rakes, likes the Dodgers, Pirates, first 3 innings under 1.5 plus 115. He also likes the guys up north, the Brewers on the money line against the no-show Phillies on the road. And anywho, moving down to the White Sox. I get it.
That was the Astros money line, by the way.
Yeah. Also, this chat is telling me to screenshot the problem. Buddy, it says contact you. And then he has Colston Montgomery to homer. Now he's asking if I'm still there. No, I'm not, because you're not helping me. Jakey Rakes, what else we got? What else we got to rant about? Something we can rant about. Oh, good question that I keep getting asked. Who do you like to win the World Series?
So here's my thing. Like when we are discussing World Series, and I've gone back and forth on this, I think we're due for some kind of World Series rematch.
Oh.
I don't think that it's going to be 2023 because the Arizona Diamondbacks are not.
I meant like playoffs. 2 random teams.
No, I think it's going to be a rematch. I think it's going to be teams. And the more I think about it, and maybe I'm just gaslighting myself, I think it's going to be Astros Dodgers. I don't know who's going to win. I texted you this, that we should have a conversation about the National League, and I forgot to bring it up. I think we're overthinking it.
You think it's just the Dodgers?
I kind of think it's just the Dodgers. And I know that's not fun. I know that's not sexy. I know people want the hashtag value, but I kind of think we're overthinking it. I kind of think everyone's just going to talk themselves into the Padres again, which I've said repeatedly. I don't think the Brewers have the staying power. And I have a little bit of interest in the Mets, but they're just so damn inconsistent. I don't want anything to do with the Phillies. I think we're kind of just overthinking it as that team gets healthier too.
I said this to Danny on Tuesday that I think I'm coming around on the Brewers over Philly and maybe the Mets.
I would in a series. I would take the Brewers over the Phillies. I agree with you on that.
I know we were hounding them on not having a true stud.
Yeah.
And yesterday I didn't like Churio getting hit in the hand. He looked like he was really.
It's not great.
Hurting. Yeah. So we'll find out more about that if anything.
I would take the Brewers over the Phillies for sure. Mets, I just go back and forth on. It's like, because it depends. Like, what version of that lineup are you getting from the Mets? Like, if you can get Lindor, Alonso, Soto, or some combination of those 3 all clicking at the same time, you're in a great spot. Because I still think the rotation, even though it's a bunch of guys that only go 5 innings, I've said this before, I think they have a Royals thing going on with that bullpen where they just get through 6 or 5 and they squeeze the life out of you. I like that part. It's just that lineup is you don't have your stars clicking at the same time. It's always one of them. And I think that's a real problem. So then I look at the Dodgers, who are getting healthier as they get guys back, as Ohtani pitches deeper into games. I kind of think we're just overthinking it, and it's just going to be, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying they have to win the World Series. But to me, I think everybody is doing what they did last year and looking where the value is and trying to say, oh, well, never the Dodgers. Maybe it just is the Dodgers. And like I've said, I'm still very bullish on Houston. I think they have the goods. I'm not a Tigers guy.
Why do I keep forgetting they exist?
Because they're a forgettable team. Talk about a team that doesn't have a star. They have Skubal, and he's their star, but they don't have a star in the lineup. I think the Tigers
have the same issue
they did last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Green.
I think the Tigers' issue is going to be the same exact one that it was last year, and that they're going to get to a spot against a team that has a stud like the Yankees or like the Astros, and they're just going to crumble because they don't have the guys that can go toe to toe with those stars.
And they also kind of lean on, like, they're one of the most dangerous lineups when they're hot, and when they're not, they're just like a really big disappointment, which you could say about every team.
I will say, I know we kind of ragged on them a little bit. I do kind of think that the Blue Jays could do it.
I wouldn't be.
But the same thing, they need everybody to click. Like they need Bieber and Scherzer and Barrios to be, or at least 2 of those guys at the same time. And then they need what the lineup is doing right now. You need George Springer and Vladdy Guerrero hitting home runs in the same game. And like, I don't know. Like the Blue Jays could do it. I don't have a ton of faith in that, but yeah. I'll say right now, I'll go 10 toes down. Astros, Dodgers.
I just realized you have groomsmen in your tag name down there.
Yeah, I got a wedding this weekend, my king.
I know. We have. It's so brand new. I'm such a dummy. I knew I was going to mess it up because I was thinking in my head, what is it again? Anywho, brand new show today. Danny Burke, SBJ, Daniel Collins, and Adam Kaufman kick off their show in about 4 seconds. Should have already been live, but I wanted to ramble for a second. As always, thank you, Jake Hasan. Make sure to give him a follow at Jake_the Pickoff. Any given wager, I'm a moron. Anywho, cue up the intro. It's probably electrifying. Don't go anywhere. There's more sports coming your way. Have a day, everybody.
That's
Sorry for the
team,
rant.
gentlemen. Hell yeah. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. You know the Betting News Network. It's why you're hanging out here with us. This, for the very first time, but we will come your way up to 3 times per week. Who knows? Maybe more if you love it. It is Wager. Yeah, you remember Any Given Sunday. You saw that fire intro that our guy SB put out. Any Given Wager, a little football play on what we've got, a little gambling play on what we've got here. This is obviously to, I guess, I don't know, man the ship, drive the bus, hand off to the smarter guys that are around me. Adam Kaufman with Danny Burke, and of course, Sweatpants Jesus, Daniel Collins, SPJ. How are you, boys? Welcome in.
Doing great, dude. SPJ, I'm ready. I can't wait for the season to start.
Let's go, baby.
Can't wait to keep the show going and excited to be here with you boys. And obviously, the entire community here at Betting News should be a hell of a year.
Boys, football is back. Excited to get and talk with all you guys in the chat. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. Excited to have you drive the bus ship, and I can just kind of show up and hang out. So glad you like the.
That's true. You drive more buses. Really, you're the bus driver like the Uber time. We're going to come your way 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays, as it is today. Fridays, normally getting you ready for the weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a little different. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And, of course, Mondays. So multiple times per week, just in the mix with all the other great content that Dan is putting out for you throughout the weekend, getting you obviously set for main slates on Sundays with fantasy talk, DFS talk, general betting talk. When ChatGPT named this show, I don't know if you're aware, that's where the name of the show, that wasn't like my own creative genius. That was ChatGPT that I stepped it up a little bit, actually. And I hope that you guys can see.
Oh, let's go.
If you remember Steam Willie Beeman right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can get that on Amazon for like $20 or something like that. But yeah, Willie Beeman is part of the collection now. You'll love to see it. I thought about rocking it, but after what we saw against TCU for UNC the other day, how could I not wear my Many Faces of Bill Belichick t-shirt? So I rocked that instead. Let's get get in here, guys. Here's what we're going to do to the show, including those of us that are on. So, yes, as SPJ said, please be active in the chat, be fun in the chat. We're keeping an eye on it. React to any questions that you've got. We're here. It's up in front of us. You can see, though, on that left sidebar, I think it's to the left. I don't know. I'm disoriented at this point. But outside of the enthusiasm, yeah, can I? Yeah, there we go. Outside of the enthusiasm of football being back, we got a game tonight. Thank God we have a game tonight. So we are going to do a deep dive into all things Eagles Cowboys throughout this show. That's what Thursdays typically. John Hyslop, Slop rules. He's going to hop on, give us a best bet, maybe even a ladder a little bit for tonight's game, and see if he can. I don't know what his process will be. Is he trying to turn $10 into 10K like so many other people out there? Is he doing 20 into $5,000? I don't know if he's trying to skip steps. What I do know about Slop is that he's insane, and he's just going to try and make you money, as we are trying to do here for you. And because we're early in the season, guys, outside of positional breakdowns and going over all the props that our friends at Bet Online have provided for you, and obviously you can invest in. You see the promo code there on that sidebar as well. That is sitting there. Code here for betting news. We'll give you our favorite plays, do a little SGP, same game parlay. Each of the three of us will offer a leg, so maybe we can. I don't know if we're going to hit a 30-1 WNBA SPJ special, but we'll see what we can do.
Let's
as
go.
far as giving you something fun across the NFL here tonight. So really looking forward to it. But let's start here this show anyway with general expectations for this game tonight. Quan gonna get a touchdown. Is Jalen Hurts tush push automatic? All that stuff. We need to know just how this game is going to play out, because Danny, SPJ, and Danny, I'll start with you. It comes as no surprise with the Eagles, and we've seen this line climb after the Micah Parsons trade. Opened at -7.5, which is ticked up a point from the 46.5. Most people assume, especially at home, where the Eagles, by the way, have won 10 straight games dating back to last year, Lincoln Financial, that this is going to be a rout, that this is not going to be competitive. This won't be fun for the viewer. Do we lay the points? That is where we need to know.
Man, Adam, SPJ, it scares the hell out of me in a day that many points. Now, look, it's not to say that I'm running to the counter and taking it on the other side with Dallas. I completely get all the analysis, the information, the breakdown of wanting to take Philadelphia. And the argument against it, again, kind of for the reasons I laid out. But aside from that, obviously, the Super Bowl hangover, right? Is that going to be implemented? And we've heard head coach Nick Sirianni say, no, we're focused on Dallas. Look, every coach is going to say that, but to a certain degree, maybe it's not tonight, maybe it's through the first portion of the season, whatever it is. More often than not, you do see a little bit of a lull, but again, then something's wrong with you. So, no, it completely makes sense why this number moved off of the key spot of 7. I have no interest in the spread personally. I would maybe gravitate toward taking it with the Cowboys just out of principle of it being, that primetime division spot here, and, everybody looking to jump on Philadelphia. And again, rightfully so, on paper, Philly should roll. But, there's the big question mark with Dak Prescott now, right? I mean, coming off yet another injury, you would assume that it's going to be a decline, and perhaps that's the case, but maybe he can stabilize enough. Now, their backfield certainly is worrisome. You got a plethora of weapons there, or maybe not even say weapons, just a plethora of options. I wouldn't necessarily call them weapons. At least we don't know yet. Maybe Blue could turn into a pretty solid tailback, but Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, revenge game, I guess you could apply that there. Look, it's not really that intimidating. And then the big thing is obviously you lost. Fascinating with this total, which I have a little bit more interest. The players then defensively, are they going in there and the team as a whole, ticked off, like, what the hell are we doing this season? They got rid of our best player. Or could it be like one of those instances where we see the guys rally around that going, yeah, we don't need Micah Parsons. Who cares what the media and the fans thinks? We don't need him. We can step up and play, and you get that extra inspiration from Dallas, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It does happen. Will it happen tonight against arguably the best team in the NFL this year too? Maybe not, but something worth considering is all I'll say.
SPJ, let me throw you a couple of trends that'll make Danny blush. So again, the Eagles have won 10 straight home games. I think that is important to know. This is, people are going to Super Bowl hangover and all that stuff. Look, Philadelphia is not going to take Dallas lightly because the Eagles, their fans, the city, hatred of all things Dallas. So they're not feeling bad for lack of Michael Parsons on the other side to open up the year, I would think. And by the way,
No love lost.
that streak of 10 straight wins includes a 41-7 demolishing of the Cowboys last year. In a game Jalen Hurts didn't even play. Now, granted, Dak didn't either. He was hurt, as Danny talked about. But, I mean, they couldn't handle, who was it, Tanner McKee and Kenny Pickett. Like,
Right.
there was no starters play. Has won 10, or rather 11 out of the last 12. So I'll make note of that as well. Just general home dominance in the series. And, well, I read this one earlier. I guess I don't really care about it, but because I've already started talking. Cowboys have only covered the fourth quarter spread in 5 of their last 17 games. So if you're thinking maybe it's close for a little while, Dallas covers the first half spread, and then you may want to be mindful of that.
We love a good trend. Love that. I've actually got some trends as well, but I'll save my trend for when we get to talking about some player props, because I really like a player prop lines that I'm looking forward to the most in this game. The first thing is like just football's back, right? Like, we're just going to be able to watch this game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, as fans, right, we're excited for football being back, guys, and everybody watching. But these players are probably going to be jittery. They're going to be excited. They get to play some real live action football again. You got guys like Dak Prescott, like you talked about, that haven't played football in more than a calendar year. And I'm most interested to see what this Cowboys team is going to look like in game 1 of the season. We've got narratives about what happened with Jerry Jones in the offseason. I mean, a lot of stuff that Jerry said that I'm sure ran rampant across that locker room, and they didn't like some of the stuff that owner had to say, which I'm sure that's been the case for a long time in Dallas. But I'm interested to see how this Cowboys team comes out and plays tonight, because as you just mentioned, and as you said, Adam, with the trends as well, this Eagles team should roll them tonight. They're a better roster. They're a better team. All the stats and everything points towards the Eagles coming out and getting the job done tonight. But what does Dak have to say when they are healthy and fully ready to roll? And I think that they could maybe come out and surprise some people in some spots tonight. So I'm very interested to see, with all the bad blood either in the locker room or also then on the field between these two teams, how that's going to break down tonight and how these two teams are going to go head to head. And that kind of gives a little foreshadowing to some of the props that I want to talk about later on some stuff that I'm kind of eyeing as well. But I'm interested to see how these Dallas Cowboys come out tonight and if they can respond to the offseason turmoil that we saw.
Yeah, Philly absolutely curb stomped Dallas twice last year. The game at home that I mentioned, that was week 17. Earlier in the year when Jalen Hurts was awesome in that game, it was another lopsided contest, that one happening in Dallas. But I just think, and to sort of foreshadow on my own when we give out our SGP of my confidence in the Eagles in this game, if you want to make the argument that, okay, there's Dak Prescott, who presumably is healthy for the first time in a while, as Danny talked about, CeeDee Lamb, I do like George Pickens. I'm not necessarily, he is their clear-cut number one. I mean, Rico Dowdle ran for 1,000 yards last year. You're going to tell me Javonte Williams can't do anything throughout the season? That doesn't mean he's going to go out and have a great game against this Eagles defensive line, mind you, but I do think he's going to be involved. He's going to be relatively serviceable. He's not going to go for 25 rushing yards or something like that tonight. I think the Cowboys' biggest hope, and again, I don't think they're going to win, and I do think they're going to lose handedly, but when we do get into the prop market, we have to at least take the Cowboys seriously on the offensive side of the ball, because the only hope is that getting into a shootout. That's it. Which brings me to the total here, guys. We're looking at 47.5, again, up a point from the 46.5 that opened. It's pretty universally sit at that number. We know what the Eagles are capable of all by themselves. Hurts, Barkley, Brown, Smith, Goddard, and so on. And I already mentioned all the guys on the Cowboys side. Island unders tend to be a thing, especially early on in the season. But it's pretty easy to envision this one hitting 50-plus points, isn't it, Danny?
I mean, look, I feel like you kind of are in alignment with the under at the same point, right? Because like then you're obviously and certainly both can happen, but like I would think that the thought process would be fading Dak, meaning that the under is a little bit of a better play because you're not going to get too much offense from Dallas. And look, it just keeps ticking up. I was just looking now. There's some spots that even
I'm making up a score, 35-21. Like that's not plausible.
But it's like so you're thinking this Philadelphia team is going to be able like 35 in that first game. Again, like I still kind of do fall to the notion. I think you get that inspiration for that game, and you've had all off season prepared for this opponent that you're already very familiar with. And you know, Philadelphia in general, their offensive game plan is more often than not is attacking you on the ground, right? And if you're doing that, you're chewing up a lot of clocks. So it's certainly plausible, right? I mean, again, it's the first game. We don't have a large sample size to go off of with these newer teams, especially on the side of Dallas. Philadelphia virtually the same, but there's a lot of new systems in place for Dallas too, to where there's a lot of question marks, to where I don't think that it's necessarily going to translate to maybe instant success offensively, but you know, defensively a bit easier to pick up on, even if you're missing a key piece, to which I think that's going to be more impactful in the long run than this specific game. So certainly, yes, the pathway's there. I'm not ready to, you know, count on this many points in game number one, especially after missing the number now. You know, how it's moved so much from about 46 in the hook now, like I was saying, up to 49. Like I think the value is residing with the under at this point.
What do you think, SPJ?
Man, all right. So I have been toiling back and forth on whether or not I even wanted to touch the total in this game. First games of the season are always tough, as you mentioned, with all the new offensive pieces. But I believe in this Dallas offense, and I don't really believe in their defense, even though they did, I think, overpay to run Bland. I don't understand that. Why Jerry and then just wanted to throw the bag at Bland. So I don't get that. But I think the Dallas defense is going to be serviceable. I don't know if they're going to be great, but obviously I think they're going to be fine. But I really like this Dallas offense this year. I think Dak's going to come back hungry and look to, I mean, as you guys mentioned, with all the health problems that he's had, this guy's thrown 35 touchdowns in the NFL in a season. So he has had success in the NFL, and he's got an all-pro to throw the ball to. You mentioned George Pickens. We'll talk about him a little later, but I don't know about the total. The first game can always be funky. I know our man Shaggy Betts at bettingnews.com wrote about this game. I'll give a little foreshadowing later. He lived a slugfest between two division rivals, but I could also see it turning into an absolute track meet. Where for props, that would be awesome. So that would be great in that kind of side of things. But first game of the season, as I mentioned, even though these are professional athletes and they've done, when you walk onto the biggest stage, you always get those butterflies, right? You always get those jitters. Some of these rookies might be coming in there too, and that have never been on a stage like this. Everybody's eyeballs are going to be watching this game tonight. So I'm assuming there's going to be some funky false starts. There's going to be some formational problems. There's going to be a little bit of that type of situation too, which could lead to there being some disjointed action, especially in the first quarter. So maybe if you wanted to take it this way, just kind of thinking about this, talking it out loud, maybe the first quarter under could be fun, as these teams kind of try to figure each other out in the first quarter, figure out what's going to kind of go on. But again, I've never been a big under better myself. I don't like taking unders. I'd rather just stick off the bet rather than taking an under. Because every single time I do it, whether it's a prop or a side or a total, I always end up getting burned. But I could see this game one way or the other. I feel like it's either going to not end anywhere close to the number. It's going to either soar or it's just going to be the freest under of all time.
You don't love Danny doesn't love the spread. Our guest today is going to scoff at this comment, but believe it or not, guys, you don't have to bet everything. You can pick and choose. You can find the markets that you actually enjoy. But again, maybe he disagrees. Let's bring in another new member of the Betting News family, John Hyslop. You know him as Slop Rules across Twitter. Great to have him here with us, where you are watching, I hope, across Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Thank you for finding us. Get involved in the comment section. Yeah. Slop, how are you, buddy? Just the longest delayed question you've ever.
Wait, how am I? No, I'm good, man. I'm so fired up for the NFL. I mean, I was looking at baseball this morning, and I couldn't even think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
No whole run leads to win $1 million today.
It feels like it might be, but I don't know. We'll see.
So what are you thinking about this game? I know you're going to give us a favorite prop, a ladder, all that stuff. But before we even get to those, in terms of just, I mean, is this going to be as easy a win as obviously the market, the betting community believes it's going to be?
I have no idea. I mean, zero idea who's going to win this game. I honestly, I think the Eagles play from ahead, obviously, and that should help out all the. You got to bet everything. It's Thursday night. You got to get a little bit irresponsible just to kind of just feel it again and then rein things back. You got all season to be a responsible adult. Just rein it in then. But tonight, go nuts. Get wild. But not too wild, though. I mean, you know.
That's what I'm talking about right there, baby. Gotta get talking with John before you joined us. Kind of telling him the vibe was getting on the show, guys, and he sent me his plays and stuff, and I obviously, of course, sent him a 10-1 parlay or a 100-1 parlay that he needed to tail as well. So I got a little irresponsible with my $5 cup parlay of the day.
What if you won? You know, that's what everyone says. They say, well, what if I lose? You're asking the wrong question. It's like, what if you win? You ever thought of that?
Exactly.
That
Gotta
would
get the
be
winners.
fun.
The winners.
So, yeah.
So what's in the prop market then?
What do you want to do? You want to do ladder right now? I think tonight's the perfect night to start a $10 to $10K ladder. That never gets.
How far have
completed,
you gone on the ladder?
anyways. I think someone asked me the other day. I think I got $200 one was like, well, whatever leg that would be. So maybe day 6, 7,
Sure.
like somewhere in there was Jake Ferguson, and I won't forget it because he ruined my day. I was having a great day that day, and then like I had that, didn't get it, and it really upset me. But it is what it is.
Real quick before we get the ladder reveal, because I think, you know, we all see on social media people posting ladder plays and all that stuff all the time. Not a lot of people have jumped in and actually gotten involved or done it themselves or tailed or whatever. So just basic ladder strategy, because unless you win, unless you go all the way, which as we know feels genuinely impossible.
Yeah.
And ultimate fee, and I'm down $1 billion on ladders. Is there that, because you said $10 to, you know, start the process off? Do you, where is your cash out the $10 just to break even at the very least point? To do it right away if you hit the first bet going into day 2? Do you know, try and hit a few and then do it? What's your threshold?
You gotta wait a little bit. Not, I mean, day 3-ish. You know what I mean? One thing you can do to circumvent that is try to get, you know, plus 150 or something. As you go longer, if let's say you went to day 3 or day 4, maybe start thinking about pulling out the last 10. You know what I mean? And keep going that way. But yeah, I remember the Jake Ferguson one. That was free, I believe, until after day 3 or 4. But when I say free, I mean like real free. Like I was saying, I mean, it's not going to make sense in a second when I throw on a minus 106 move. But just saying, you don't do even money. What you want is, I don't know, plus 150 or higher. It starts to add up day 3 or 4, like remarkably so. So yeah, that's when you start pulling out. You never, ever, ever, if you get to day 5 or 6 and you still have money in and you're crazy. Like you're not. That's just, I mean, You know what I mean?
So stupid.
At least if you're going to be stupid about it, at least do it stupidly right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
be
like
smart
gambling in
being
a
dumb.
nutshell, though, right?
I mean, you can't be that.
Yeah.
No, 100%. That's my friend's assessment as well. You have to be smart about being dumb because you have to be smart about it.
Hell yeah. I made it to day 5 one time, and I actually at that point I hadn't, because I mean for me with ladders, like you're investing $10, so at that point you're kissing that $10 goodbye, and you're going on the ride, right? But then you get to day 5, like you mentioned, or day 6, and then you're looking at the cash out options, and you're like, oh damn, all right, now I need to start making some decisions in here and feel good about it. At least I made it. I made my 10 back, and then you just roll with the rest of it.
100%. It's awesome. You know, the other problem you end up running into is there's not many places that you can bet $1,500. Like, not, I mean, none.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no place.
Yeah, I mean,
So there is that. So like, only a couple of places. So there's that too, but that's for another day.
Hell yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, let's
Find it out. All right. This is the easiest one I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I mean, I hate to start with that, but I mean, it's just yards. You parlay that with George Pickens, 40-plus receiving yards. That's minus 106. That's like, how does that not happen in a game script where the Eagles should be able to move the ball all over these guys? They're gonna have to. The Cowboys are not going to be able to run on these dudes, and they're going to get to a point in this game where they don't want to run on these guys because they can't. It feels easy. I mean, the CeeDee Lamb on the other side. Now he's also got someone on the other side taking away attention. He whips man, which Philly plays all the time. Well, 60% of the time. This feels easy, guys. Like, how does that lose?
It feels so easy. Actually, you sent this to me, and I'm on one of these props. What do you guys think?
Look, it's exactly right. That should be the game script. If the Cowboys have any chance of keeping up here, Dak Prescott has to clear 200 yards. And I guess the question mark is, how quickly and efficiently will Pickens get integrated in that offense? It's a necessity. So, yeah, 40 yards, what's his prop at, like upper 50s, 60s right now? So he should be clearing that on paper, and all the attention going to CD and short route. So if Pickens can make some magic happen there consistently and at least get one deep shot, which we know he's prolific at, there's no reason he shouldn't clear that.
I was looking at some numbers earlier. This won't surprise anyone. An Eagles team, 17 points, not even 16.5 per game last year. Dak, the Eagles last year allowed a league low 174 passing yards per game. But sort of the inverse of that, before scares anybody off of this bet, Dak has crossed 270 plus in 3 straight meetings with the Eagles. Reason for that, as outlined, is Eagles should be up pretty considerably in this game, and Dak is just going to ask, and I always worry about Dak making it through a game at this stage. But never. I mean, even the books, even stateside, some of the books are starting to give you those, free legs if somebody gets hurt in the first half, like soft gambling stuff.
Yeah.
Soft just like if you're gambling, you're gambling. Like, I don't know why we're making this so user friendly, but obviously it's easy to say, and then one of us benefits from that. It's like, yeah. I'm more worried. I'm not saying I'm worried, but I'm more worried about Pickens than I would be Dak. I think Dak is going to get there. I don't think Dak will have an issue. I'd be comfortable with him at 250 plus. But the Pickens Lamb dynamic, I kind of need to. I feel like I need to see it the first time.
You're going to get to see it a lot tonight.
Yeah.
George Pickens. He's probably covering this in the first quarter, maybe sooner. I don't know. There's so many things. Like, all right, twice. So that helps. You know what I mean? When you go back through and watch these quarterbacks they saw, it's like, all right, they did have a good pass defense. No one's saying that. but they got bailed out in a lot of ways, and that's the way they can get beat is through, like, you're not going to run on them. I don't think that. I mean, maybe, but I don't see it happening. And like I said, once they get behind, it's on. So I can't wait to see it too. Like, I'm with you. I think the way is them leading the game. I don't think we're getting it. I don't know how it happened, but if you've ever watched a football game, then you know what I mean. Like that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like obvious. Like the Eagles, and they're probably not the chalkiest. Probably the Broncos the chalkiest when it comes to survive this week. But the Eagles are going to be a pop. I'm a Patriots guy. Like Patriots beat the Bengals in week 1 last year. That never should have happened. Didn't the Ravens early week 2, week 3, whatever it was, they lost to the Raiders. That shouldn't have happened. So, we're any given wager here. It comes from any given Sunday. We're like we know what's possible on a football field.
Too many times we've seen it. Too many times. But with all that being said, this is free.
Air. John, anything else you want to drop on us, man, before we let you go? You'll be back with us tomorrow on Friday to
Dak Prescott, I think you already said it, Adam. I think 250 plus feels pretty safe. If you want, that one leg or one play that you have, you can bet it straight. 250 plus feels pretty easy. I mean, if you want to start climbing ladders, you can. 275, 300. That'd be a fun one. If you're out, you need something. You need a fun one that you really feel like is going to hit. I think that's the one. I think that's all roads pretty much lead to that one.
Awesome. W4 that in a sec. I'm 6'5", big dog. I can totally am.
It is. Never dunk. Yeah. I wish I could. So nice work on that. You'll have to tell me what that feels like.
Oh yeah.
Hang out around the 8-foot rim, boys.
Yeah.
Much easier. Much easier.
Good stuff.
Beautiful. John Hyslop, Slop Rules on Twitter. You know him. He's a regular here on this show now and across the BN network. Thank you so much, Slop. Chad, we make some money on that first leg. If we're going to be talking about a ladder with Slop again tomorrow, we need to get to day 2. We need to cash day 1, obviously. So once again, that was Dak 200 plus, and it was George Pickens at 40 plus receiving. Put those together, and he said it right around minus 106. So we'll keep an eye on that. See if we can all get a little loot. I mean, it is kind of our responsibility, Danny. We had him on the show. Like we just have to kind of blindly tail the ladder, don't we? Like we're all.
Here's the issue: if we don't, and it goes on that streak, we're going to be kicking ourselves here. So it's kind of one of those things that I was just talking about. This when you're going to a casino and you put it on there once, you know you're stuck for the rest of the time you're there, because if it hits and you aren't on it, you're never stepping into a casino again. So I think we're committed all the way. I like it. Obviously, like you said, the only scenario, you get screwed with injuries, but that goes for any single over that you're going to be taking. The Pickens question mark, how soon is he going to get implemented in the offense? You would imagine pretty quickly. The Dak thing, unless Eagle, he should be getting over 200 plus yards here in this game. I don't care who you are, but why not? We got to start somewhere. First game of the year, might as well.
Just one thing, boys, before we keep going, 'cause we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Chat, apologies. I don't know what we're dealing with some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, it looks very clear to us. I am seeing very clearly all of you guys right now. But apparently, Chat is dealing with some major issues on YouTube and on Twitch and on X. So we apologize. I can't control anything else. When we have our studio the next year, we'll be able to fix that and figure it all out. But sorry, apologies for the technical difficulties. Hope you can stick around with us for the next half an hour as we finish talking about it, and hopefully the buffering will slow down.
You know what I think it is? I think all the excitement about the debut of Any Given Wager, we're breaking the stream.
And Goodell's
people are crashing it. That's what's happening right now.
People are crashing all of it, man. At least we see you clear.
Slopping his 150,000 followers or whatever the hell it is on Twitter popped on, and all of a sudden everything broke.
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
All right,
all right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, since he kind of teed us up. Should we jump into some props?
Yeah,
'Cause
man.
I
What,
get
are you
after it.
talking about your favorite prop? Or do we want to jump in?
and go around and around, baby.
All right, let's show the people what we're working with here. We're going to go again, position by position, marquee matchup. So, like, look, unless I don't know, Danny's got a deep cut into a Tolbert anytime touchdown or something like that. Probably not the guys that are going to be featured here.
Right.
Anything's possible. I don't want to squash his dreams. Stand up. QB edition. Dak Prescott against Jalen Hurts, and show you what these props are on Bet Online right now. Now, I would think it's pretty easy to understand what you're looking at here, and we appreciate the over 1,000 people hanging out with us and fighting through any sort of tech difficulties that might be happening out there. So what you're looking at, this will be consistent slide to slide, is you got your categories, your key numbers, and of course in those parentheses, the first number obviously is to the under. And it's important that we feature that because, you know, I know some people, SBJ, aren't necessarily under betters, but that's number 2 touchdowns, minus 154. Yikes. But at times you're going to get a nice plus money number, depending on what things look like, or obviously to the over. So anyway, pass yards. I mentioned I'd be comfortable with Dak 250 plus. You're looking at right in that window, 248.5 versus 213.5. Honestly, to see that each one is plus money to the over. Just to start with that, Danny, that it feels like to me, if you're looking for any sort of half touchdowns for Dak at plus money, feels, I mean, that's right where I gravitate to, because again, he's gonna be passing.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles defense is incredible, don't get me wrong, but they're not impenetrable. I think the Cowboys are going to put points on the board. There's no run game to speak of, as we have already alluded to. And the fact that you can get Dak at 2 touchdowns and others at his disposal at plus money, that's tasty.
Yeah, between the toward Dak going over 1.5 for the reasons you just stated. I mean, adding Pickens there certainly helps, regardless of what defense you're going against. I remember looking at a lot of these props for the Cowboys last year with that time touchdowns, because it was a market that I was really getting involved with, and you know, who like Turpin or someone else they had. It was just so many different guys outside of CD, and you're really trying to find value. But now you have at least, you know, 2 top or more top tier guys, meaning, you know, giving a little bit of relief there to George Pickens, consider receiver, and now it just opens up the doors to so many different avenues, to where if they're not open, like you said, Jake Ferguson's the next guy who we have some props with as well. So yeah, I like that approach. I actually think the thing that stood out to me, and I get why it's listed is, but Jalen Hurts with his passing yards prop was it's a blowout. And you know that the Eagles love to run the ball, and then if it is a blowout, then you're going to stop passing. I get this, and I get all of that sentiment, but it's incredibly low. And if the Cowboys do hang around and they do have that kind of inspiration to defend up, then you're going to have to steer in a different direction. And not that I'm taking this into account that much, but just worth noting, when Jalen Hurts did go up against Eberflus's defense a few years back, he only threw like, 20. Flus likes to be aggressive sometimes in the wrong situations. He plays a lot of zone coverage. I just think he could pad those up pretty easily and won't have to stretch himself too much to where we're looking at that 213 and going, man, that was certainly can get the passing again going. And on any given Sunday with any given wager, that'll be the one part I counted today. But yeah, I think that's what would stand out to me is that
over under on 1.5 for how many times that we all pun that throughout the every single show.
Yeah, I think we've done it. We already hit 2. I think Adam had one. I had one. Now
I've got a damn jersey, guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Right. That's the first time we're allowed to lean into it a little bit.
I want your thoughts on this. I want to remind people too. So in the process of throwing this to you, I will also ask you this. Is it a concern? I keep talking about Dak passing yards as though, it's the guy 2 years ago that threw for 4,000 however many yards. Dak worst, or a career worst QB rating in his limited action last year. We saw way too much Cooper Rush. Who knows how much Joe Milton we might conceivably see this season if Dak can't stay on the field. But obviously that was an issue. So on the one side, we haven't seen him in a long time. So should we be comfortable passing ups on Dak?
I get the argument for sure. And it is kind of a shot in the dark. But the game of the season, you can't really use past statistical data to like quantify your bet. I mean, you can use it to help you, but like we've talked about this throughout the offseason and going into the start of the season. There's so many situations that are different for so many teams. Roster turnover, coaching change. Like there's not a bunch of changes on the roster on the defensive or the offensive side of the football. Like you can use some of the stats from years past to kind of help you feel good about taking that bet, but we don't really have any data right now. So we're kind of going off of feel, how we think something's going to go, and also maybe if there's not a lot of changes, how something looked previously. But to answer your question about Dak, I'm not super concerned or a broken bone or something like that. It also has not a lot to do with his throwing motion. I mean, I know that, like, as you guys know, with his his twist thing, I'm sure that helps with his with his ham. He needs a good hamstring for that. But I'm not concerned about it. I do think also that they are going to be down in stretches of this game, so he's going to have to throw the football a little bit more. He might be in some situations where they're going to be either down or they're going to be in long down to distance situations with linemen. You got guys in the wrong spots because it's a new offensive scheme. So there might be some of that, but I'll just go ahead and throw this up. I'm Dak today. I love his passing yards over 245.5. I got a good number on this. I got it last night at minus 125. I can see him getting 250 plus, like you mentioned. This is one of those situations where if he comes out, he doesn't look like the Dak of old, then you have to kind of rethink how you assess and how you saw before he got injured. Also, one nugget for you guys too. And now I don't tie into these too much, but I love a good narrative play. Do you guys know what Dak's record on Thursday night football games is?
Assuming bad.
Dak is 6-0.
All right.
Thursday night football.
Hey.
Average 272 yards per game in those Thursday night performances with 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Now, is that trend due to Buck in this situation because of the long time sitting on the sidelines? And this is the first game of the season Thursday night, so a little bit different. But I like the matchup. I think that he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. As Slop was saying too, I like the latter. 275 feels very comfortable for a very nice plus juicy number, and you can even take it up to 300. I mean, if they're losing by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter in this game, he's going to have to sling it. I love his 2 touchdowns was plus money. If he throws for 2 touchdown passes in the first half, we are never going to see his over 1.5 or plus money again this season. They're not going to hang that line once again. So that could happen. CD could break a tackle for old Ferg Ferguson doing his stuff in the red zone. Like, so many possibilities. I think the plus money, like you mentioned, is a great play for his over 1.5. But I like the yards. Give me Dak. I'm pretty high on him this year. I drafted him a lot of fantasy decision, but we'll find out. This.
Listen, what will determine your season long or best ball or whatever you got going. So don't worry, don't sweat it, because I do think the Eagles are going to absolutely roll in this game. But let's continue our stats standoff, boys. And look, we're talking about passing. Let's talk about some pass count for Philadelphia, and we have CDM on the other side for Dallas. You're looking at comparable numbers. The anytime touchdowns, both plus money in the vicinity of plus 150. The receiving yards in that 70 to 75-ish range. Lamb 75.5, 60.5 for Brown. If you are watching their bet online, make sure you check them out and use the promo code BNBOL there. So, guys, this is interesting. BOL 55, by the way. I was trying to remember the number. So, interesting little comparison. I think where I feel like I have, and I have to pull up the game log, but just again, going on memory, there's been a bit of inconsistency in AJ Brown's game, definitely in the playoffs last year, to where would I be the least bit surprised if he goes off and, ladder him up to the moon? He goes again, terrible defense, terrible secondary, terrible everything on the part of that Dallas team. But also, I just don't feel inclined to invest in it. Lamb again, and this feeds into everything we've been talking about with Dak. CeeDee Lamb, meaning we know who, and I think having George Pickens there, you can make that whole does he take attention away from him argument in a negative way, meaning, he's, Dak's not going to have tunnel vision for CD the way he did so much of last year when he didn't have any other options, like Brandon Cooks wasn't a viable target. But the flip side of that, you're like years ago where it can go the other way, and it's like, man, they don't know how to handle this. We got two reliable deep threats or middle of the field on and can just gash you any way we attempt to do it. That can be a real benefit now.
So I think with CeeDee Lamb, I'd have a bit more interest with his receptions as opposed to receiving yards. Now, I would lean toward the over in that with this Philadelphia defense that's probably going to be okay surrendering a lot of short action, right? They don't want to get beat by Pickens deep. They don't want to get beat by CeeDee Lamb deep because that gives any momentum toward the side of Dallas that, if you give them an inch, maybe they go a mile. I mean, they need something them. Then you're going to frequently feed a guy like CeeDee Lamb, which we've seen them do so often with those screen passes. Maybe it's kind of, a jet sweep type of shovel that still counts as a pass. Whatever it may be, I think that's how you're trying to get your top player in Lamb involved. And we saw that happen a lot with Cooper Rush toward the back end of the season last year. Like, how the hell can we get CD involved in some regard? It's just get it in his hands. I don't care how you do it. So I would look at the over 6.5 receptions. Not to say I'm knocking anybody taking those AJ Browns, I would want to take his, I think, because they're a little bit lower, if I'm not mistaken, from what you put up. It's just because of how atrocious that Dallas secondary may be, and because I do think there's a little bit of value in Jalen Hurts with his passing yards, a tad bit of correlation there. Yeah, 69.5. I would probably be a little bit more confident in taking that with AJ Brown. Am I going to bet it? No, I'm not going to. But Adam, because you made a good point, I like the volatility. That's honestly why. And because if they do play to what that spread is, you're not going to need to get AJ Brown as involved. So, go in that direction. Do I think there's an edge right now in the first game of the season as an 8.5 point favorite? Probably not, though, as official play. Maybe I'd honestly, I know it's not a clear point. AJ Brown's kind of a tough sell with his receiving yards all year because of what the identity of this Philadelphia team is. Maybe would rather look for him, Saquon and Jalen Hurts back there that takes pretty much everything else away. So something to consider.
I don't have it in front of me. What are we on receptions?
For CD, I believe it was 6.5 with a little bit of plus money toward the over. Let me double check really quick.
Well, while you're doing that, SPJ, what do you think of this matchup here for stat comparison?
I love what Danny had to say. He actually kind of took some of the words out of my mouth. I was super impressed last year with CD in the back half of the season because he was playing on a terrible roster. He was playing on a team that had zero playoff aspirations and had a backup quarterback throwing the football. And a lot of quote-unquote stud, all-pro, diva type wide receivers would have just phoned it in at that point. They literally were inventing new ways to get him the football just to make sure that their guy was still happy, and he was playing really hard for that team. And I know it's a job, you're making your money, so fair enough. But your incentives get a little low. It's just as an athlete to kind of go out there and play hard. And I think that maybe they learned as a team as well and as an offensive system. When we can't go deep, when we can't hit those whole shots, when we can just throw a 5-yard dig to CD or throw a bubble screen to CD, and he can get us some yardage that way and get him involved that direction. So I really like the receptions play. I don't hate the yards either, and I think the touchdown's great. Try their damnedest to get CD into the end zone just because he is their best offensive weapon. So I think that they're going to get him involved. His target share is going to be so high this season as long as he doesn't get hurt, just because Dak probably saw a lot of those things from the box last year and went, I don't have to sit back in the pocket for 5 to 7 seconds and wait for him to get 50 yards down. I think it's a great point. The yards or the receptions, I like the yards too, and I don't think the touchdowns are better play either for CD.
And of course, our SGP for TNF to give you here, but don't worry, we'll have time for everything. From Brown Lamb, how about Devonta Smith, noted Celtics fan? I just have to point that out. And on the other side, George Pickens in his Dallas debut. So obviously, it's a favorable matchup. Poor secondary for Smith. 2 touchdowns against Dallas back in Week 17. Thrives against zone coverage. Cowboys' new defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, who we mentioned a couple of times, likely to employ that. You also have Steph Digby, and he's even said to be, 80-85% right now. These two guys, very comparable. You got the receptions at 4.5 right there. So we got the receptions here for you to look at on this one. And mid-50s, low to mid-50s on your yards for both these guys as well. Smith it's sort of Zay Flowers-esque, real Jekyll and Hyde game. Unless I know that like A.J. Brown is going to be out or something like that. Pickens, from the game script that we've been discussing ad nauseum, coupled with the, I like SBJ mentioned narratives. You guys will come to find with me if you're on Narrative Street. I am Mr. Narrative Street, and debut Dallas passing game emphasis, all of these things. That doesn't mean Pickens is going to blow up tonight, but I at least think the logic is there to argue for him getting 60 plus. I could see him doing that in the opening half. I don't want to go against what Slop was saying earlier, but I think it's reasonable to expect that Pickens has a big night here, Danny.
I will not disagree with you with the receiving yards, but I kind of like his under receptions. Now, it is priced accordingly. So, again, I don't think there's value in playing minus.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, there you go. You could. I don't think there's really any value laying minus $1.67, but there's a reason why he's at 4 in the hook for his receptions, because I think I figured out a new offense. You have a new coach who was the offensive coordinator. And look, these are professionals. You've had all summer. It's different from college to the pros when you get new guys in systems. We all recognize this, but still, I think it's going to be a slight learning curve for Pickens, and a guy who many times wasn't like consistent. It would be incredible, and that certainly could be the case. And there's the discourse for, CD's taking all the attention, but this Eagles secondary is spread so strongly and they're formidable all over the place that I'm not too concerned about another top receiver right there. And I think with Pickens again be utilized is with those deep ball threats, to where one catch is all it could take to get him over those receiving yards. And maybe he only gets a couple of those longer ones, thus keeping him under the receptions and giving him the avenue to get him over the receiving yards. So that's what really stands out for me there about him. I mean, my goodness, that's a tough guy to get a read on. The only time I'd ever really entertain it is if you're getting value on his anytime touchdown prop and what should be a higher scoring game. And, again, week 1, not really the biggest fan of it if they're going to run it in a ton potentially. And I had to lean under for Devontae, but yeah, I mean, who the hell knows with that guy? It's so tough with him.
Hey, Danny, can you do me a favor? Can you grab me a fake softball? Can you lob it up to me?
I got one in my car for 16 and softball
You
here
gotta-
in
you gotta
Chicago. You know, we
out of the
play
park,
without
is
our
that
mitts, so
what's
I
gonna
do
happen?
have one, just not on me. Damn it.
Oh,
I blew it.
that's all right. The fake. Well, I mean, there you go. Everything that you just said about Pickens is why this is the second bet, and I didn't have this in a banner. I was kind of toiling with this before we started, and I'm actually longest reception over 22.5 yards. It's a market that I bet a lot last year. It's a fun market to get involved in, especially for these guys that are very one or two play type of receivers, guys that are kind of the big play options for the Titans, just because these guys either are going to take it on one big chunk or they can break a tackle and go to the house. 22.5 feels very comfortable. Now, again, all these numbers are with Pittsburgh Steelers from last year, but he hit this in 9 of his last 10 starts for the Steelers last year. He was the big play threat. He got that connection with Russ cooking 30-yard catch, and sometimes, like I said, he takes one to the house. So, like you mentioned, I like the under on the receptions. I don't think his yard. I think his yards is probably a good play, just purely off the fact that they're going to, like we talked about, they're going to be throwing a lot. But his longest reception at 22.5 feels very
I like that.
I have a bet. I have a unit on that one. I like that.
All right, why don't we go to the tight end, boys? You know,
Okay,
not a lot of tight end talk necessarily with thing before we get to, you know, one of the real stars of the show, the reigning offensive player of the year, Saquon Barkley, and his running back comparison. But our stat standoff for the tight ends, I believe it. Would we have that?
We do. Just give me just a second to find it. So give me
just a few more. Tell your friends, call your mom, have her hop on the stream, watch the show, whatever it takes. The vibes are good here.
Absolutely. All right, I got it. Thanks for starting this stuff.
Yeah. Let's show the people what we got, what we're looking at on the props for these two guys. So Fergie at 34.5 and the Duchess there, and 39.5 on the other side for Dallas Goedert, 3.5 receptions for both. So again, third straight graphic with very comparable numbers positionally between these guys. This one, for me, it's, I feel like I've spent the last couple of years kind of talking myself into Dallas Goedert and always investing in him at the wrong time and kind of overlooking a guy like Jake Ferguson just because, you know, Dak, or even when it was Cooper Rush, like there's been a rapport with this guy. He's not, you know, George Kittle or Brock Bowers or, you know, Trey McBride or all these guys that you love to talk about at tight end you there, but Ferguson is sort of sneaky interesting. He's in the same way that I think Downs or, you know, Drake May sort of drilling in on him. I think Jake Ferguson gives you a similar kind of pedigree game to game, maybe without scores, but in terms of the contributions. It's just to see his numbers sitting there in the low to mid 30s. It's appropriate. I think.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet because Danny does have a play on one of these two guys. So I like Ferguson a lot this year. I drafted him in quite a few fantasy leagues. I think you got great value on him. I think he's often forgotten in this Dallas offense, and I think really good value on him to score a touchdown. Yeah, exactly that Dak stack, baby. No, I think there's good value on him to score a touchdown today, as we know when the Cowboys do get into the red zone. So I like Ferguson in this matchup. Goddard's a tough guy to bet on just because, like I talked about with the game script, he does get open, and I think that 35.5 or 36.5 line could be free. But I'll tee it up on what he has for old Turd Ferg. I think he's got a good way to bet it today.
All right, so I love this over 3.5 reception spot with Jake Ferguson. Now, when Dak Prescott was in those 7 spots last year, Ferguson's numbers were 334 yards, coming out to an average of 5.4 receptions per game and over 48 receiving yards. I had first considered the receiving yards, but I ended up going with the receptions. Now, I got minus about 40 on the screen. Again, it was around that minus 150 range. If you can't get I'm a pretty big proponent and getting as good numbers as you can as everybody is, but I know some people still just take it to take it. Make sure you're not going too crazy on that. But again, you know, when Prescott faced off against Fangio and the few times that he did, again, a big sample size showed that he did kind of go to those stick routes, tight end like a Jake Ferguson. And if those secondary members who have been so awesome for Philadelphia do happen to shut down a CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens more often than not, the next read should be your big tight end and Jake Ferguson, who has proven to be reliable. He went with 4 receptions against them against Philly last season when Dak was in, I believe, and then 3 of 5 when Cooper Rush was in the mix. So again, now you're getting a boost with Dak there as well, who does tend to be more reliant on a guy like Ferguson. And both times he did stay under. Now, again, I think it's going to be more consistent looks as opposed to someone like Ferguson getting the yards after catch against such a very strong defense that Philadelphia has. Great at tackling, great at limiting yards after catch, number 1 in the NFL in yards per play allowed last season. So that's why I think it's worth laying about minus 140 to minus 150, probably not too much over that, but thinking that Ferguson could be a really good look in terms of prop tonight. And I know somebody commented Goddard, kind of alluding to this too, like it's kind of tempting looking for the Ferguson to the Goddard time touchdown. Like when you're watching him on prime time, you're like, yeah, that just makes sense here. But Goddard's got to stay healthy himself. But I'm all over Jake Ferguson tonight, hoping he can at least get 4 catches.
All right, boys, let's make the move to the running backs. Saquon Barkley, reigning offensive player of the year. Dallas rushing, defense that again, Saquon just should have no problem exploiting with that offensive line in front of him as well, which is why you're seeing something flirting with 100 yards. Maybe we should have just, forgotten Javonte Williams altogether and just on Saquon and Jalen Hurts, put him on the other. Since the Cowboys, the one time he faced them last year, 2 of those on the ground. Tush pushes galore, as we know, 14 rushing touchdowns in 15 games last year, and added another handful in 4 playoff games. So good on him, and got at least 1 in 10 games across that regular season as well. It's not like those necessarily always came in bunches, but Saquon, he's the guy. As we know, we're seeing that there isn't more juice on that. He's doesn't mean he's going to score, but he's what, like SBJ mentioned, free. He's one of those guys. He just feels like that free square when it comes to touchdowns, and the Eagles' emphasis on getting him involved. I've been reading some articles. I've seen some people looking SBJ at unders on Saquon. They could be up by so much that, maybe he won't get 20 plus carries. Maybe it'll be 15, 17 carries, doesn't break one off for more than 20 yards, has a more conservative, 85 to 92 yards, but he comes just below that under. That's not out of the realm of possibility versus, of course, he's going to hit the century mark. Javonte Williams, just because he is the number 1, like Miles Sanders is the other guy. Neither one. There are no expectations for either of these guys, which is why you're looking at 33.5. And I don't presume they will be running much. Like they're going to have to pass a lot if this game goes the way we think many of us do, try and milk the clock by running with these guys. But are you all in on Saquon tonight?
All right, so I think maybe we can talk more about the Sixers and our thoughts for the whole season, but and this might be this might be one of those clippable moments, chat, that you guys can flame me for later on the fact that this was a terrible take, but I'm pretty down on Saquon this year. I have a feeling that we have only seen Saquon Barkley play 2 full professional seasons of NFL football for the entire season. Every other season has been maligned by injury for whatever reason. I know he was playing on a really bad New York Giants team for most full minutes and full 17-game season. Obviously, we saw it last year, so recency bias goes, well, he'll just do it again this year, right? He'll probably rush for close to 2,000 yards behind one of the best offensive lines in football, of course. Regression is due in these situations. Do I think he's going to flirt with 2,000 again? I do not. I watched Derrick Henry for the Titans for many years have these similar types of runs, and we have now found out that Derrick Henry is an anomaly in the injury department. Like, he just doesn't get hurt as a running back, but running backs' bodies start to break down. Now, he is in the prime of his career, as in Saquon. So I could see Saquon not as flashy. And then we talk tomorrow about him underperforming in this situation. Maybe it doesn't matter for the game script or whatever, but I'm pretty low on Saquon this year. You can then also throw in the narrative aspect of we talked about this with Christian McCaffrey a couple seasons ago. He had a fantastic season for the Niners, and what happened the following season? Bang, he got hurt, and he was pretty much not useful for that 49ers offense, and they crumbled. Do I think it's going to happen with Saquon? No, you don't wish injury upon anyone, but we haven't seen it enough in his career for him to stay healthy for 17 games, just in case we see the same Saquon once again for some fun. But if I had to choose and pick a side, I could see Saquon starting a little slowly, and maybe he's due for progression.
SPJ, I like the hot take. I do agree with you, and the stats back it up. Now, I don't have these specific stats in front of me, unfortunately. That's my bad. But I remember we were talking about this one of the first shows that I came on at SPJ, and we were ranking fantasy football players. We're doing running backs, and it's like all the players pretty much who have gone for over 2,000 rushing yards. There's a pretty big margin, is damn near impossible. That's why it's so impressive. But you think about all, miles you're putting on guy, and it's not to say that he's going to be bad. Of course not. He's still going to be very, very good, the best. But yeah, no, I don't think he's going to replicate what he had last year, and nor should he, because if you're the Eagles, you're invested in this guy, right? You don't want to work all of those miles on a guy like Saquon statistically. I mean, it's insanity. So I do think you laid it out perfectly, like the beginning of the year, especially in a game where if they do play in line with the spread, why would you need to keep him out for so long? Why would you keep running him into the ground, especially week one, when you know the team you have, the talent they have, and where the bar is set? You don't need him to get into the triple digits. You can get by and beat the Cowboys without that. We have seen it before, and we'll probably see it. I think it's kind of crazy. It's it's always scary to bet under with Saquon with his rushing yards. Probably lean a little bit more toward his carries, but for every reason you just said, and because the data kind of backs it up, yeah, I agree with you, man.
Let's go behind him. 30 carries, 82 yards last year. And
Eagles fan favorite, Will Shipley, man. There's so many Eagles.
A.J. Dillon's in the mix now as well after, honestly, a pretty representative season in limited usage for Green Bay last year. I mean, he's sort of a quiet yard guy every single season, and people just don't talk about him at all. But maybe I bring that up because maybe you want to think about overs on the backups if this game does get really lopsided and Saquon winds up taking a seat. And I'm sure there's some people out there, I haven't seen it in the chat, but I'll get ahead of it. I'm sure there's some people 2 billion yards in week 17 last year. I remind you, and yeah, he did. He was awesome. But I remind you that those last 2 games that he played in week 16, 17 in particular, he was chasing that record. And he got himself to 2,000 rushing yards, and he did it by the end of that game in a meaningless garbage time rushing so that they could not play him in week 18 and give him a little bit of rest before the playoffs today. But notable. It's all notable.
Did you have?
I was going to say, Adam,
I lost so much money on the Super Bowl betting narratives. I can't even begin to tell you how much I hate. I loved that game as someone that wanted the Chiefs to lose, and I hate. Slop earlier was talking about being irresponsible. I was irresponsible on that particular Sunday, and it did not go my way. So I'm
the Super Bowl IV, baby.
I know. Right? I hate betting the Super Bowl, but I do it every year because
how do you not? All right, before we wrap up, guys, because we've already run over. By design, this show will be an hour, but first time and wanted to kind of introduce the program and ourselves and goof around a little bit, but we'll get into maybe a tighter rhythm. Any given wager, same game parlay, where very simply I'll give you my favorite play. Each of these 2 guys will do the same thing, and I don't know. We could shop it. We could see where it's at on Bet Online and give you the number, and put it out on Twitter, and hopefully we all have something. 9.5 hours from now, something like that. So let's get into it. SPJ, your favorite play?
Fully invested on it. That's my favorite play today. So I'm going to go with Dak over 250 what the live line is right now, so I can pull it up for you guys. So yeah, I'm going Dak passing yards. That's what I like.
Hell, we can chop it while we're talking about it. Danny, what do you have?
You know, I was so close to Cowboys money line, but I don't want to piss off Adam. So no.
Wait, real quick, brother. I know Adam's on the spread for the Eagles.
I have
the Cowboys
very small lean. I will say, I think you might as well put in. I'm not adding this to the parlay, but I'm probably going to bet under 49 minus 118 is the best price I saw. I am going to add that in, I think. However, my bet for the parlay and probably my favorite for the night, Ferguson over 3.5. I'm sure it's 4 plus whatever it is.
From SGP SPJ, as he mentioned, yeah, I put your money where your mouth is, right? I keep talking about how I think the Eagles are going to absolutely smash tonight. I could give you something that I like in the prop market, but a board of our straights and how we're doing in addition to parlay success. So, we'll have a little internal competition, little race, see how we do from, day to day, show to show. But for me, it's the Eagles to cover. Obviously, if I could get that -7, it's right on the touchdown line. That'd be wonderful. But post Micah Parsons 8.5, wherever you see it, we see it at 8.5. I'm still good with it. I'm gonna ladder this thing up on personally. Like when I'm putting together some of my little individual side wagers, I'm not gonna go crazy on it. But take that 8.5 to 9.5, take it to 13.5, make it 2 touchdowns. But maybe a little pizza money, a little $5 hot dog money, something like that on 3 touchdowns minus 20.5. Like let's get wild. I do. I think the Eagles are going to spank the Cowboys tonight. It's very much what I'm rooting for, but it's also what I.
All right, so I have 49.5, which I'm fine with. I think you feel good about that too, with what we talked about. Fergie, 4+ receptions from Danny. And then, how do you feel about buying the spread down a skosh to 6.5, just so we can cover ourselves with the touchdown?
Sure, that's fine.
Going to affect it, but if we're doing a 3-leg, I have no issue with that.
That's plus 360 for those 3 legs.
Right.
Now, what we could do is we could add Slops. He really felt pretty confident in Pickens. We could add Slops Pickens play in here to make it a 4-leg. What do you guys think?
So he had Pickens at 40 plus, and his prop is sitting low to mid 50s right now. So you'd want to put in just 40 plus.
We should find out what the value would bring that to. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it takes us up over 4 to 1. I don't know how much more.
40 plus, that gets it to plus 435.
So
those 4 legs.
He's a part of the program. It's a community show. It's for the people. Vibe.
It is.
What kind of vibes would we have around here if we're excluding somebody in the first show? So I think we need to do it.
All right. Do you guys want to leave it 40 or you want to bump it to 50?
No, I mean, let's not get nuts.
Yeah, I like
plus
40.
I didn't love that crazy bastards play in the first place. Now you want to off them?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Eagles minus 6.5. Ferguson 4 receptions. Prescott 250 plus, and then George Pickens 40 plus of the year. Bing bong.
Find that on a Twitter profile near you. York 5 Slop at Slop Rules, and I am at Adam M. Kaufman. We really appreciate everybody being here with us. This show has flown by, which is why we went about 15 minutes long, but a ton of fun here across the Betting News Network. Again, check out our friends over at 5. You can see that QR code on the screen if you're watching this on your computer, on your TV, wherever you're finding us across YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You just flash your phone up against it. Obviously, scan that picture and take you right where you need to be. But boys, ton of fun. And tomorrow is normally the Friday show. We'll go game by game across the entire weekend without a game to worry about that night. Instead, we've got that Brazil Island game between the Chargers and the Chiefs. And so we'll be kind of halvesies. We'll do half like we did today. Very quickly, we'll go game by game across all of week one because naturally there are no buys. And oh, by the way, Slop will be with us too. So what am I saying? We're going to wind up running over again, but we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best. Fellas, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, till Adam throws on that jersey. Maybe he'll have to do it if we hit the SGP. Then I'm waiting for him to throw that bad boy on.
If we hit that bad, I will put on the jersey and I will run around my house and I will post that video.
If we hit it as well, a second level, wear the now.
Yeah,
so
right.
Rocking and rolling.
There we go.
Stephen Willie Beeman, any given wager here on the Betting News Network. We come your way 1 p.m. Eastern on Mondays, soon enough, Thursdays, and Fridays. Thanks for being with us for these guys.
What you know about